All right. Welcome, everyone, to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 172. Alta here, joined by the one, the only...
Remote.
All
And
right.
here we are, another podcast, another week. What's going on this week, Altai? Anything exciting, anything spicy?
Well, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago in the post-game, perhaps, but I did get that weird Vortex free...
Ooh, I forgot about that. I actually,
Yeah.
I told you to came and I completely forgot. Oof, I'm hyped to hear about this.
I'm going to hopefully have the review up tomorrow. I'll record it tonight. I don't want to... But here it is. It's a giant lard of plastic that blows hot air into your face, and it smells like plastic burning. And it has a constant hum when it's turned on. This is
All right, so
not...
for those that don't know what this is, it's a product called the Vortex, and it's supposed to make your games feel more realistic by blowing hot air into your face.
Yes. It is... They sent it for free for us to review. And we said we're going to be honest, right?
Yep.
Oh, volume. Oh, my volume went crazy. This always happens. I need a new wire for my mic. I keep saying this. But anyway, hopefully it's fixed. Can you guys...
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Here is the website for this. It's going to get a bad review. It's going to get a do not recommend. Just a teaser for you guys.
A little bit of spoilers for everyone. So actually, when I first saw this, maybe just show the video too or something. But like when I first saw this, I thought like it was a speaker with a fan built into it. And you told me recently that it's actually it's not even a speaker. It's just literally a fan.
Yeah, no speaker. There's no speaker element to it.
So it's supposed to like sync with the game you're playing. So like if a grenade blows up in you, like when you're playing Battlefield, it's supposed to blow hot air at you.
Yes. And I mean, it does. That part works. What it does is, I think it tracks
Pixels,
how quickly the colors are changing on your screen. So you can kind of force it to go fast by, like, let's say, just dragging your browser window around. You know, like a windowed browser window, and you're just kind of dragging it around. That'll force it also to shoot that air.
Somebody commented, this is the worst idea this year after Diablo Immortal. Honestly, I think this might be significantly worse than Diablo Immortal because I cannot imagine anyone asking for this. Look, there are people out there that will play Diablo Immortal. I just don't see anyone like wanting to buy this.
Well, okay, so spoiler, okay? It's a hot piece of garbage right now, right? Not recommended for anybody. But after seeing it, they did tell me on one thing, that there will be a market for this in 2-3 years.
What?
Why? Hear me out. They're just really early, and they're the wrong company to do it because they're charging $120. I think this is going to be a $1,000 product.
What are you talking about? Nobody's gonna buy this for $1,000. Hashtag get blown. That's the best part about this, by the way.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they just targeted the wrong part of the market. So imagine Dyson, heater fan. Imagine Dyson making a high end something like this that looks sleek, right? And it's on your desk.
Aren't they called like hair dryers or blow dryers?
No, I searched the wrong thing. This is the heater version. So I really think there will be a market for let's call it a smart personal heater, whatever, right? It sits on your desk like something like this. It can blow hot or cold air at you. So if your room is cold or hot, and it syncs with your Wi-Fi. Because look, I'm the person for this, right? Like look at my lights. I got those $50 Philips Hue lights. I got the fancy chairs and everything. So I just think the problem with this,
nobody's gonna use this. The content it just seems awful.
No, the concept is good. This company.
Why would I need? If I'm playing a game and there's a grenade goes off, I don't want hot air blowing to me. In fact, I want cold air blowing at me because I'm sweaty. I'm a sweaty dude. All right, sweaty dudes don't want no hot air blowing at them at any time. What are you talking?
Listen, hold up.
The immersion is irrelevant. Nobody wants that level of immersion.
I'm saying it's going to be an added feature to existing product line. Look, Dyson already sells the hot cold fan. I'm showing on the screen, right? This is already a product that exists. It's a high end product. It works well. All we're going to do is add
don't want no hot air blowing at them. I'll tell you. Sweaty dudes don't want this.
Okay, well, whatever. You can watch the full review. I'm going to shit on this. But honestly, before seeing this, I thought it was stupid too. I think they're just early. In 5 years...
No, in 5 years, Altai, nobody's going to have this. Let's make a bet right now, Altai. I will bet you a nice buffet, a casino buffet on this, all right? 5 years from now, we're going to come back and check the date. And you said 5 years, people are going to be rocking this device. Ready? That's a firm no from Remo. Okay, you taking me on that bet?
Well, let's phrase it properly. I'm going to say... It won't be Vortex or whatever this company is.
Yeah, sure.
I think there will be a Wi-Fi / smart desk personal hot cold air blowing device,
and it will
have
no relation to the game you're playing.
That'll be a feature of it.
No.
Yeah, right, that's my bet.
We'll have to wait and see on that one. But that's a firm nope from Remo. Seems like an awful idea.
Okay, I think we'll have that.
Anyway, let's jump to the weekly raid. I'll tell you what we got. We got some stuff happening this week. We got GStar, G Money, G Hustle, G Jam going on this week.
That's right. This week is GStar, and we are a bit early because it doesn't start until on Thursday, on the 15th. It kicks off, and this is Korea's biggest gaming trade show. And while a lot of the games being announced and are for now, specific to the Korean market, as we all know, Korea is pretty big in gaming, PC gaming, and mobile MMORPG sector. So this is worth following. A lot of the big companies that we're familiar with, Nexon and Csoft, Netmarble, are going to make announcements here.
And this is the show for basically all the kind of games that we typically cover. When you think free-to-play PC games, basically almost everything that comes from Korea. I mean, there's obviously some North American developed free-to-play games as well, but like the vast bulk of them come from Korea. So this is a big show to keep an eye on for that.
And there's a whole bunch of trailers. A couple people on YouTube were nice enough to compile all the different announcement trailers from each company into like one video, which is nice. We'll go through some of that. But first, the people actually organizing the convention itself put out a little trailer. So I want to play that for a bit. Like it's got the cheesy music. So let's just play it, see how we feel.
All right, let's feel it out, boys. Fancy.
I love this music. It's so hilarious. It doesn't fit at all. It's like so... I don't know. The sirens are going. It's just going down. Wait for the... It's a very bizarre video. It's like a bunch of like business people at this event. This music just doesn't fit. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, that's GStar. Let's move to the actual companies making some announcements.
Nexon. You thought BlizzCon was bad with one mobile announcement. Spoilers, GStar is basically all mobile announcements. All right. If you thought mobile gaming was like slowly creeping up in America, this is not the future in Korea. This is the present. All right. We got across the board mobile game releases.
Oh yeah. So Nexon at least gave us 3 PC games. Okay.
Good for them.
And 11 mobile. Whereas NCSoft is all mobile. Every game they talked about.
11 mobile games. That's a lot of games.
Yeah. So Nexon did 11 games. And let's skip through this trailer a little bit. So the PC games they are going to be talking about are Dragonhound, Astelia, which is the only one that's actually close to release, and Ascendant 1. Whereas their mobile game,
some kind of MOBA?
I think so.
I never heard about Dragonhound.
I haven't. There's a trailer. I'm gonna find just a specific Dragonhound trailer for you guys.
But it's remarkable. At least we're getting 3 PC games from them. But like I remember, like in all these events, you never got that many game announcements. Right? It was always like a few games coming out from each company. But now with mobile, they just churn these bad boys out. They're showing off 11 mobile games. That's crazy. It's 11 games from one company, all mobile, obviously. So clearly not going to be as in depth.
Well, this Dragonhound game is it seems like a cinematic trailer, so we have no information.
CGI trailer gaming, 0 gameplay. I hate when they show stuff like this. I want to see some actual gameplay. Honestly, unless it's Blizzard, I really don't care about cinematics at all, period. Like, if it's not a god tier cinematic, they're wasting their time. It's a 0 from Remo. I want to see gameplay.
Yep. Well, as we talked about, there's a few of the Nexon games, mobile games, I want to at least give a shot to, like Mabinogi Mobile. But yeah, pretty disappointing otherwise. NCSoft is even worse, as we said. It's all mobile. A lot of people were saddened to hear that Aion 2 is going to be mobile only. Blade and Soul 2, also mobile only.
He's pretty sure when they announced they're working on like a sequel to Aion, we put the news up on MMOs.com, I think like a year ago or so, like 6 months or a year ago. And they didn't say back then it was mobile or PC. They just said they're working on Aion 2. And that got a lot of hype, I think, on RMORPG and other places. But now that we know that Aion 2 is for sure mobile, it deflated a lot of the balloons here in the American market. But like for Korea though, it's mostly mobile anyway. But it's crazy because they had a few big announcements. They have Aion 2 and Blade and Soul 2, both big sequels, and they're both going to be mobile only. What I find remarkable though is there's not one Blade and Soul mobile game. There's 3 Blade and Soul games coming out from NCSoft. Not one, but 3, which is insane. Why would they need 3 Blade and Soul mobile games? They look very similar too. There's Blade and Soul 2, Blade and Soul M, and Blade and Soul S. It's just so bizarre. There's 3 of these games.
Well, next year with 3 more, it'd be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know, Blade
Yeah,
and Soul.
just slap some more letters on there, right? Why not?
Yeah. Well, what's more sad to me is there was actually no mention of Project TL, the Lineage, which is supposed to be the Lineage 3 like restart, right?
That sucks. That's
Yeah.
sad.
They didn't even mention it.
So
yeah. So what's the
that was a game.
speculation?
Lineage Eternal is a game a lot of people were hyped for, and especially after we heard some news about Lost Ark too. Both Lineage Eternal and Lost Ark had a lot of hype behind it. So it's sad that we got nothing about Lineage Eternal, also called Project TL now.
Yeah. Oh, well, the one good news on the PC front is that Lost Ark finally did release in open beta in Korea, and we have a launch trailer for that here.
It looks really cool actually, and there's been a bunch of streamers already showing it off on Twitch, and it looks like a really, really polished version of Mu Legend, just a way nicer version of Mu Legend.
Yeah, and you know how long this game took to make? I know we've been talking about it for a long time here.
When was the first announcement? Like back in 2016, 2015?
No, wait, this game has been in development for 7 years.
Oof, big yikes!
7 years. That's longer than Star Citizen.
Not as long as Final Fantasy 15 though. That one's been in development forever. But it's crazy how long it takes to make these MMOs. 7 years. And I think you told me how much money it costs to develop as well. This is actually one of the most expensive, MMOs to develop out there. So what was the total cost on this bad boy?
Well, let's see if our good listeners can guess. So guys, type a number in millions that you think this game cost to make.
Just to give you a ballpark, like the most expensive game is like 200 million. It's Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Nerf me hit it. 80.
Yeah.
Over 89 million. So we don't know the exact amount. We just know it's over 89 million. So I'm going to guess somewhere between 89 and 100.
Yeah, probably right around the $100 million mark. And we have a list of the games that cost the most money to develop on MMOs.com. And it's going to be on that list after it launches for sure.
Yep. And remember, so far they haven't localized it yet. They're going to spend at least another, a couple million localizing it in English and Chinese and all these other languages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think let's see what the lowest on our list is going to be. Most expensive is Star Wars: The Old Republic, costs 200 million. And the cheapest on our list is APB Reloaded and Titan, which costs about 50 million. So it's right in the middle of that list.
Yep.
Before we talk too much about this bad boy, there is one mobile game, Altai, that I'm actually somewhat excited for.
Oh yeah, which one is that?
It is not Mabinogi Mobile. It's an NCSoft title, and it's one of the few mobile games I'm really rooting for it to do well. And that's Lineage 2M, also revealed at GStar, and it's going to be cool because Lineage 2M is going to be like Lineage 1M. So Lineage 1M is basically a mobile port of Lineage 1. And it's not trying to be like a mobile game. It's just actually trying to take Lineage 1 on PC and move it to mobile. In Lineage 2M, they said that was their same goal as well. They were trying to recreate Lineage 2 on mobile. It's the same game on mobile. Not trying to reinvent the game, not trying to do anything different. And if they do that, if they actually bring Lineage 2, because I think Lineage 2 is a really good game. I mean, it's an old game now, but they launched a classic server for it, and it's pretty hype right now in popularity. I mean, we played Lineage 2 on private servers back in the day, and I had a lot of fun with this one. This was actually a really good game. If they can bring this on mobile and not make it mobile garbage, just make it actually just Lineage 2 on mobile, it would be great. And it would really, I think, follow in the same footsteps as RuneScape Mobile, old school RuneScape Mobile, which actually is just RuneScape, but on the phone. They didn't try making a new game. They brought an existing successful game on mobile without making it nonsense pay to win garbage. It just or mobile autoplay nonsense. If they can make Lineage 2 the same way, I'm actually mega hyped for it. Because this is actually a really good game. We kind of forget, this is a very ambitious game. And even by today's standards, if you play Lineage 2 on the PC, it's an ambitious game. Wide, persistent open world. So few MMORPGs now have, seamless, persistent worlds, the way, Lineage 2 did. And open PvP as well. Very few games do that. It's a very ambitious game, and I'm really rooting for it on success on mobile. Because if this game does well on mobile, it'll tell developers to stop making garbage autoplay games and make games that are, more PC-like on mobile.
Actually, yeah, and I'm gonna give them a little more credit than that. Even I actually think they're actually good. They actually said it's gonna be a reimagining rather than a direct port of Lineage 2. So what I think that's gonna mean is a little bit smoother animations and graphics, because Lineage 2 is a very old game. And when they do remasters or ports like this, I actually don't mind updating the graphics. I know for example Warcraft 3 is going to do this with the remaster. It's going to be reforged or whatever, and it looks a lot better. So I'm not against. Oh man, my mic has been acting up apparently.
I just keep my microphone properties open on my other window. That way, if it ever acts up, I can just auto correct it. It's probably because of It's probably because of Google Hangouts. Just go to Google Hangouts and go to your settings and just change your mic setting there to your speaker, so it doesn't adjust.
Okay.
Cool Hangout's probably taking advantage of that bad boy.
You're
But
right.
yeah, I'm really excited to play it because it looks cool. Like, I really haven't played too many mobile games. Somebody mentioned in the chat, RuneScape is killing it, 150,000 concurrent players. So since RuneScape Mobile, old school RuneScape Mobile launched, the player base as a whole has gone up through the roof. It was the most downloaded game on Android at launch day. It's doing really well on iOS as well. And the player base has just shot up because of that too. So if it works on RuneScape, and I think you could make it work on mobile for Lineage 2 as well. And Lineage 1 M is actually the most successful mobile game that they actually Lineage 2 Revolution's up there too. But it's one of the most successful games that NCSoft has. So if this works, hopefully we get less garbage games that autoplay themselves and more realistic games. Another reason I'm really hoping for old school RuneScape to do well is it'll send a signal to developers to stop giving us autoplay games. And I'm actually really hoping that Diablo Immortal game is not autoplay. But knowing that it's made by NetEase, it probably will be autoplay because literally every other game they have is autoplay.
I have a fun fact for the Diablo Immortal. We got a little more information from China on what engine NetEase is using for the game, and it's the same engine that they're using for Knives Out. Do you remember Knives Out?
Oh yeah, the Battle Royale game.
Yeah. So Diablo Immortal is being built on the same engine as the knockoff PUBG mobile game.
Whoa! Knives Out is an original idea. All right, they were working on that before PUBG was even announced. Clearly, all right, it was a coincidence that it happened to be the exact same game. And it's a coincidence that bandages can only heal you up to 70%. All right. They both designed that completely independently. All right, Altai? Don't you dare lob accusations against those god honest Chinese businessmen. All right.
I mean, look at this, guys. This is the engine, boys.
This is gonna power Diablo Immortal.
I still think it's a shame that Blizzard is partnering with such a sloppy, shameless studio like NetEase for this.
The Cuban at Mia says a mobile equal investor strategy. No real MMO gamer plays on mobile. Like honestly, most of us don't. Obviously, Cuban. Alta and I, I think Alta tried downloading a new mobile RPG recently and tried playing it, but it's just literally autoplay nonsense. So he kind of gave up on it too. So even though we don't like these games a lot, there is clearly something here. That people play these games. I mean, they wouldn't be making like mobile Diablo if nobody's going to play it, right? Or any of these games in Korea or China would not be doing so well if nobody played it. People are playing these games. It's just I think the most hardcore players probably are not going to play it, and the most hardcore, I guess, the fans that went to a lot of fans that went to BlizzCon, the most hardcore players, they are probably not too interested in it. But outside of like the really hardcore top 5%, I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people.
I remember when Diablo came out. Diablo 1. Omar and I started this franchise with Diablo 1. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course.
And do you remember when Diablo 1 came out? There was a huge controversy with like the pentagram and like its demon worship,
demonic symbols. Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So part of the pitch for Diablo, right? The aesthetic, the setting, the dark, like occult setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and we saw them kind of continue that with Diablo 2, right? You had remember the Act 1 boss had the titties out.
Oh, and Dariel had titties out. I remember that. That was so weird because you got to the boss. And it's like the first time in like a video game I've seen titties. I saw titties in Diablo 2. That was hot as fuck. Even though she was like kind of nasty. But we saw titties in the game. It was great.
Yeah, and here's the gameplay. So here's the thing though. Here's what I'm trying to say. They kept true with Diablo 2. And that's why it's a great game. Everyone loves it today. Then Diablo 3 was the first step. It kind of looked more Looney Tunes, more Disney, right? It was a little bit brighter. It wasn't quite as gritty. The blood wasn't really there. It was just like an action game, right? But whatever. It's still Diablo. Now, with the problem I have with Diablo Immortal too is Blizzard is selling their soul, and it's ironic that the game is all about like good and evil and souls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard is selling their soul. They're watering it down so much. Remember, by outsourcing it to NetEase for the Chinese market, it has to comply by Chinese rules. Chinese rules say no blood, no skeletons, right? How can you have a Diablo game, right?
That skeletons or blood. Good point.
Like it's totally removing what made Diablo. Yeah, it's not even M-rated. I think it's true. I think Diablo 3 was watered down to make it more accessible for consoles. It's just a shame that the artistic element, the quality element that Blizzard stood for is kind of being diluted by themselves. It's a shame.
But that's what happens when a studio gets so big and successful, Like it's almost like they're following the natural course of things, right? So I don't think it should become as a shock, right? I obviously, when a company gets bigger and bigger, they want to make more money. They want to go to a bigger and bigger audience. This is like the natural evolution of things, more so than anything else. I mean, Diablo 3 sold more than Diablo 2, didn't it?
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't think. Okay, so look, this is Diablo 3 now. Doesn't it look more Looney Tunes than 1 and 2 did? And Immortal's gonna look even more Looney Tunes.
I don't know if Looney Tunes is right, but it's definitely brighter, I guess.
It's Looney Tunes. Anyway, my point is,
are there titties in Diablo 3?
no.
Ooh,
The Cuban guy, $5. You guys rock. Thank you, sir. Man, we haven't got a donation in a while. It's usually subscriptions, which are also good.
That's true. Much love, the Cuban guy.
Okay, I'm not against let's call it like a spin-off. Like Hearthstone is obviously cartoony, right? Goofy, whereas World of Warcraft's about war and gritty and, but they did the balance well, right? By making one a spin-off, right? Whereas Diablo Immortal doesn't feel like a spin-off. Like, if they made like a Diablo card game that's goofy, whatever, I don't care, right? But I just don't like the fact that it's a mainline Diablo game.
It definitely doesn't feel like a Diablo game, like you said, but it's the evolution of things because they're gonna make more money off it, and I do think there's a lot of people going to play this. Misawa Stream, thank you for that subscription. Much love, fam. I do think it's gonna do really well, though. I think a lot of people are attacking the game for being like not going to do well, but I think it'll be a commercial success, and it's just so weird because mobile games have completely taken over Asia already. Like in South Korea, at the biggest gaming convention in South Korea, everything is mobile. There's so few PC games being shown off. I mean, fortunately for us here in the West, PC games and console games are still like a real thing, right? They don't play console games in Korea, right? If you're a gamer in South Korea, what you look forward to next year is basically whatever you see at GStar. Nobody plays console games in Korea. They do in Japan, but not Korea. So you can look forward to entirely mobile gaming as your lineup if you're a gamer in South Korea. Yes, you can still hold on to like there's a few still big PC games still, in the West that are popular there, but it's really, that's about it. Mobile games to look forward to. We still have a lot of console games here in the West at least, but the future looks very, very mobile driven.
All right, we should give one shout out to the one major MMORPG game coming out of Nexon, Astelia. Unfortunately, it's an Unreal 3 game.
No, what are they thinking? It should be another.
Well, it's been in development for many years, so I guess they decided on it a long time ago. And here's some gameplay. It doesn't look too. It looks like pretty. Yeah.
A generic experience, right?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've heard good things.
This kind of ties to this again. I was reading some comments from previous news recaps. I think a lot of people left comments on the last news recap. Oh my god, mobile games! Like fucking mobile games are ruining the world. MMOs are dead. MMOs are dead. Right? It's again. We've talked about this in the podcast in the past, but it's worth mentioning again now because how much we're talking about mobile games. But a lot of people say like MMOs are dead on the PC, right? But I still think it's fundamentally not true. I mean, we mentioned about player-based numbers in the past, but if you look at I looked at some old school RuneScape peaked at I think 125,000 players, right now. And if you look at like old school games like EverQuest, remember we mentioned it before, but the game peaked at 118,000 players. EverQuest 1, considered like the most popular MMORPG back in 2004. It peaked at 118,000 players, and it only went downhill from there. I mean, back then you had EverQuest, you had World of Warcraft came out in 2004, you had Dark Age of Camelot, and Ultima Online. There's like 4 big games that everybody played back then. If you were an MMO gamer, you played one of those. And EverQuest was one of the biggest. So if the biggest game back in the day only 118,000 players, the market was pretty small. I think the market today is a lot bigger than people think. Again, it's just very much diffused. I mean, just like spread those numbers, give you some more numbers today. Old school RuneScape is 125,000 players, more than EverQuest ever had. Considered again one of the biggest MMORPGs of all time. If you look at Warframe, for example, on Steam only, just this last week, because Fortuna launched, right, the latest expansion to RuneScape to Warframe, Fortuna on Steam alone had 130,000 peak concurrent players. And at least another 70K off Steam, probably, or 50K at least, 200K players. Path of Exile, earlier this year, had 95,000 peak players. And after the latest expansion launches for Path of Exile, that'll probably be over 100K. And remember, this is on Steam only. This is not counting the players off Steam. ESO has 30,000 concurrent players peak earlier this year. And again, ESO is not all on PC either. In fact, if we look at they've publicly said they have a third of players on PC, a third of players on Xbox, and a third of players on PS4. So the game has over 90,000 players, not counting PC users off Steam, at least 100K players. So these are just a handful of games. MapleStory 2 had 42,000 peak on Steam, and probably over 100K if you count the players off Steam. These are just games, relatively newer games this year that are bigger than the biggest MMORPG of all time in the good old days of 2004, 2005, 2003. And, it's crazy, I think, that people still say MMORPGs are dead. These numbers don't say the games are dead at all. I mean, we just have so many more games, and our player base is divided by so many more games today than ever before. But it just, It's the wrong word. I don't think people should be calling MMOs dead because the numbers clearly say otherwise. MMORPGs are clearly not dead. Just look at the player base numbers on Steam alone. These numbers are astronomical compared to the numbers we had before.
This shows me the power of a word I love called the zeitgeist. Okay, and when something is off trend, right? If it's off the zeitgeist, it's dead, right? If you're not, it's this theory that if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards. So the wind right now is behind the sails of battle royale games, like even so Fortnite probably still the big one. A couple of years ago it was like League had the sails, wind behind its sails, and it was ascendant. It was on the news, it was all these big stadiums filling up, and when that focus of the masses, I guess, shifts, everything gets left in the wake is just dead. Dead in quotes.
People say League of Legends is dead too in quotes, right? But League of Legends, yes, the numbers are down 20% year over year, but 20% from the biggest like PC game, it's still pretty up there, So it's just weird to call it dead. I mean, like you said, I guess they don't have the zeitgeist anymore, and I think people see the writing on the wall that it's gonna be difficult for PC MMOs to compete against mobile. I think that's 100% true. I mean, for sure, mobile games are probably already bigger than PC. I think mobile games are bigger than PC gaming today, right?
Yes.
So that's an objective fact that mobile games are big and getting a lot bigger, and they're gonna be eating away market share, right? But I think MMORPGs are bigger today in the last like 3 or 4 years than literally any other time in history. At no point was the MMO market bigger than it is today that we're living in it. I do think 5 years down the road that will not be the case. I think mobile will eat into PC quite a bit. I think a lot of people that hate mobile games, they're gonna fold and start playing mobile games. A lot of them, obviously not the most hardcore, but the ones on the fence, they're gonna start playing more and more mobile games. We'll have less choice as well. Obviously, again, GStar shows basically they have like 3 new PC games launching in Korea, more than three from Nexon, a few from whatnot, right? But it shows the future for these games is clearly on the mobile. And if in 10 years from now, when we get less and less new releases, eventually they'll all be mobile, and then obviously it'll be more and more mobile then. And PC MMOs will truly be dying then. We're not quite there yet. I think we should still enjoy the fact that we're probably still operating the biggest MMO market ever.
Ever the optimist, huh? All
right. I like to think so. Yeah.
All right. So we had a lot of earnings this week. Anything interesting or worth going over?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them. I thought a lot of them were pretty interesting. Let me think. Blizzard reported their numbers. Actually, it's Blizzard's worth mentioning because it was in the news recently. I think everyone who was, who really hated Diablo Immortal can kind of, I guess, smile smugly because once they announced Diablo Immortal over the weekend, like that Monday, right after Diablo Immortal was announced, Blizzard stock went down like 7%. 7% for like a $60 billion company. They lost like $4 billion in market valuation because of the outlash. Literally, player outrage caused Blizzard's the company to lose $4 billion in valuation just from players being really mad about Diablo Immortal. And it was a double whammy because later that week they announced their Q3 2018 earnings, and that showed the numbers were slowing down. The revenue is down 10% year over year. So Blizzard, for all its successes, has less revenue this year than last year, and that's with Battle for Azeroth release. So which is pretty crazy. They went down another like 5%. So collectively, I think Blizzard lost like $10 billion in value that week. So they had a pretty bad week because of that. And more interestingly, Blizzard always kind of shows you, if you can show on the stream, the breakdown between King, Activision, and and Blizzard.
Yeah, I like this too.
It's remarkable just how much money, like you can see how much money each division actually makes, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, look at the player. You showed it.
Yeah, so here we have it. I'm gonna look at the operating income. So Activision brought in 112 million for them, Blizzard 189, and King 184. So Blizzard was king. I mean, Blizzard was ahead of King this time, but I suspect King is gonna take the lead again soon.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning. I mean, the reason Blizzard came out so far ahead is because of Battle for Azeroth launched that last quarter, right? And they sold the most ever single-day unit sales for franchise history. So World of Warcraft sold more copies day one, like this last quarter, than ever before this expansion. I think over 3 million copies or something, right? So that really boosted Blizzard's numbers this quarter. Normally, King actually, I think, earns more on average than Blizzard does. So King is probably the most valuable of the 3 divisions for Activision Blizzard. It's continually just churning out money. I find it remarkable that I honestly, I don't understand how King makes so much money. I mean, Candy Crush is, I guess, a well-designed game. It's simple, right? But I just don't understand how they can keep making so much money off this one game. I mean, if you played, I played Candy Crush before. It's like, just try it out. I played for like an hour. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this, right? Then they released Candy Crush Soda Saga, which is literally the same thing, but it was skinned with like, ooh, yeah, soda or something when you're playing, right? It was really weird. It's the same game with like just different colors. And they released like 4 other games that are all the exact same reskins. I don't understand how they can keep making more money, making more reskins of the same game.
A month ago, a new one came out. It's called Candy Crush Friends, guys. Here's the trailer for it. How exciting is this?
Look, a surprise for our player. Let's go see what's in it.
Easy now, Tiffy. First, we have to help the player get there. Are you ready? Get in. Good to go. Tiffy.
Future of gaming.
I'm born ready.
Ooh, spicy.
Sir, yes, sir, Mr. Toffee, sir.
Misty.
I'm the readiest. Oh, yeah!
Candy Crush movie coming soon. It could happen. We're gonna have a Candy Crush game show.
Candy, need more candy.
So what's the spiel with this, Alpha? How is it any different than regular Candy
It's the same
Crush?
game.
Really?
Yep.
So it's another reskin version of Candy Crush.
Yep.
And they just gave it a different name and more people are playing it.
Yep.
I don't get it. So it's remarkable. I mean, this is why, like, from Blizzard's perspective, like, why should they make a Diablo 4 or more Diablo 3 DLC or a new Diablo expansion when they can make a mobile game that just mints money? The numbers are astronomical.
They've literally been reselling Bejeweled for years. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look at the numbers are absolutely insane for some of these mobile games. I think we looked at I think I mentioned before that like Fake Grand Order has made more money in the last like 2 years than every single Metal Gear Solid game combined, like franchise wide, since like the first one came out in 1980s, 1990 something. So in like 2 years, Fake Grand Order makes more money than every single Metal Gear Solid game combined ever, which is insane. And that's the reason we're going to get more and more mobile games instead of, traditional full budget buy to play games.
All right. Any other takeaways from the earnings? I know NCSoft had one. Their mobile games are down a lot, but still bigger than all their PC games combined.
Yeah, it's worth looking at. Let's skim through that one real quick too. Basically still NCSoft makes more money off their mobile games than every other PC game combined, which is remarkable because, their PC games have been their bread and butter for such a long time. I mean, mobile gaming really only took off in the last like 5 years or so, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure NCSoft didn't even have a mobile games category on their earnings report until just like a year and a half ago. So this is a new category for them. And despite being a new category, mobile games already are bigger than everything else they've ever worked on. So it's remarkable. Like everything the company has worked on for like the last like 20 years got overshadowed in the last 2 years by this whole new genre.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's very new for them, and it's just making so much more. So how can you, if you're one of these executives, it's very hard to justify a new PC game when there's so much more money to be made on the mobile side.
And here's the thing that really nags me to a degree. Like I know Jim Sterling put out a new video about Call of Duty's microtransactions, right? And here's what really grinds my gears again. We mentioned this before, but the fact that PC gamers are so quick to outrage against microtransactions is the reason we're getting more mobile games. Players that just hate microtransactions on the PC and they cry about it, they're going to push more developers to make more mobile games because mobile gamers don't give a shit, right? Mobile gamers love being abused and love those pay-to-win microtransactions, and they don't complain. It's the norm on mobile, right? And because of all the complaints, it really makes PC gaming more difficult to monetize. I don't want to seem like I'm sympathizing with the big corporations, right? No, I want more PC games, right? I want to play more PC games, and I honestly don't mind if they have microtransactions in them because I'd rather play a PC game like Call of Duty with microtransactions, like Overwatch with microtransactions, than literally just not have that option, which is the future, I think. Because so many people are bitching about microtransactions on PC games that the future will be no PC games and everything will go towards mobile. And it's going to be our fault for bitching about it all the time. I'd rather Blizzard make money off responsible microtransactions than play any mobile game because that's the future. And all we will have left is mobile games if we just bitch and moan. And if people like Jim Sterling bitch and moan about everything, we're going to be left with nothing. Only mobile games. And Jim Sterling will be partly to blame from all the bitching he's done about it. I like Jim Sterling, but I vehemently disagree with everything he said about with microtransactions.
That's a good point. And
Overwatch,
and also someone's so generous, like Overwatch. Literally, like I don't care about cosmetics, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't care about my skins in Overwatch. When I played Overwatch, I didn't care. I just played, right? Mm-hmm. I would have shoved a dildo up my ass before I spent $1 in Overwatch, right? Because it doesn't do anything for you, those cosmetics. Yeah. So it didn't affect my gameplay at all.
Oh, you'd rather shove a dildo up your ass
than spend $1 in Overwatch.
Really?
Than buy a loot box.
I'm not okay.
I'd have more self-respect for myself if I shoved a dildo up my ass than I would if I spent microtransaction on a cosmetic.
Why? Who cares? I don't see a problem. Like also,
there's no problem with shoving. Some people enjoy shoving dildos up their ass. There's no problem. Sure. I'm not saying there's a problem.
No problem with it. Yeah,
it's
I agree.
Personal choice.
Yeah, sure. Personal choice.
Yeah.
Also, for the record, I don't think this. If you spend money on a mobile game, God bless your heart, good for you, right? That's fine. I don't mean to attack people that spend money on mobile games. Spend money where you find the most enjoyment, the most fun, right? But I just hate that this mentality exists for PC gamers that like if you spend money on mobile, if you don't support PC games if they have microtransactions. That mentality is going to literally be the death of PC gaming because these games won't be monetizable and it's going to lead to more mobile games. That's the reality.
Yeah, like I have no reason to insult Overwatch's monetization in their loot boxes, and I think if you, you said, if you're not okay with that, I think you're just hurting. Like you're not offering an alternative. Like there's no reason to hate on that.
Well, the alternative these people offer and Jim Sterling will offer is just the games back then didn't have it. I should be able to get the full game. The way I got back then is what they say. But the reality is the alternative is they're going to make mobile games. It's one or the other, And we've already seen it in Korea. There are no new PC games coming out in South Korea for the most part. Yes, it's a generality, but the biggest gaming convention in South Korea, GStar, is showing like the biggest game company in South Korea, I think is Nexon, and they're showing off 3 PC games and like 20 mobile games. And NCSoft is showing off 0. They're showing entirely mobile games. There's nothing left. And we're going to see the same future, the same dystopian future in America if we just don't let them monetize. I mean, the outrage against, like Jim Sterling's outrage against Call of Duty, no matter how bad microtransactions are on PC, it never comes close to mobile games. Like, at no point there's no Western developed PC game with microtransactions. I don't care about even the EA Battlefront game that got skewered, right? Even that game is god tier fair compared to the mobile shit we've seen. They're on a different scale about fairness and balance and, like honesty. Like, any Western loot box is going to be infinitely just more fair than anything Chinese or Korean, especially on mobile as well.
I think in a way, people who complain about the Overwatch stuff, they are just trying to buy time. I think they know it's inevitable, right?
It doesn't have to be inevitable. I don't think it has to be inevitable.
I think it does.
Overwatch makes a ton of money.
No, I think it is. You know why? I think games like Star Citizen have shown that PC gamers, or at least a large subsection of them, are no different than mobile gamers. That there is no limit to what they will pay if you dangle the right pixels in front of their face. So I can see in say 10 years from now, an Overwatch game with golden bullets, with flying jetpacks that last longer if you pay, with cosmetics everywhere, with characters that cost like $1,000, like a hero that costs $1,000 to unlock. Why not? Star Citizen's doing it.
Here's the thing too. I think there's room to monetize for PC games in a completely fair way that hasn't been done yet. That I don't know why companies are like. I mean, again, they're afraid to push the boundary here because people are going to bitch about it, right? Remember that $100 loot box in Rift? People got so mad about that. Like, I read like, who gives a shit? There was a $100 loot box, and it gives you a chance to win 1 of 5 different like special mounts you can only get from that loot box. Like, who cares? They're not selling you power. They're literally selling you a cosmetic. They're selling you a mount. It's the same mount you get elsewhere, basically. Just it looks different. Like, that seems like the best way to monetize. They're not selling any power. It's purely cosmetic, and it's optional. What the hell? Don't buy it if you don't want it, and let the whales buy it and support your game. I mean, by the way, Rift is not a good example of like a fair game, right? But this aspect of Rift with the $100 loot box, which again, Jim Sterling specifically made a video about skewering the $100 loot box. Like, this seems like, what the hell? Like, who cares? They're literally selling cosmetics for $100. If some schmuck wants to buy it, good for them.
I think their worry is once they sell cosmetics, they're not going to stop there. Which, I mean, to be honest, I think it's right. I think they're right. Like, I say Overwatch 2 might sell characters, like DLC. Then Overwatch 3 might just have gachas with characters, right? Like, this is a progression you're going to see.
But the progression is there won't be an Overwatch 3 or 2 ever because we're going to go right to mobile if we keep fighting this. And I don't think Blizzard's already made a lot of money in Overwatch. I think they're going to keep making good money on it with more cosmetics. They've already said they're not going to charge any money for characters. So it would be a pretty crazy like 180. They basically just lied about that now.
Well, I mean, they're still going to squeeze it as much as they can, but then eventually they're going to make, if they want Overwatch to be a franchise like Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo, they're gonna have to make spin-off games, whatever form they take. And what about those?
Don't MOBAs sell characters already? Yeah, League of Legends sells characters already, and you can unlock League of Legends characters in game, or you pay money for them.
Well, that's a good point. That's what I'm saying. So, PC already has paying for characters and stuff. So it's nothing new.
But League of Legends and like any PC game, again, the microtransactions are nowhere near on the same scale as mobile gaming, which is why I'd rather let them do it on PC because the PC PC players are naturally more, I guess, more hesitant to spend money, or maybe more like prone to outrage that maybe they can't like push the envelope that far the way they have on mobile. But if we outrage like crazy and give them no chance to make money, we're just dooming ourselves, I think.
Maybe, but it did work with Battlefield, the Star Wars one, right?
Yeah.
They kind of ratcheted it back, and I think Battlefield 5, which is coming out like now ish, is gonna have only cosmetics. I would actually say League of Legends is way worse in terms of monetization than Overwatch or any of those other games because you have to pay for unlocking the heroes.
Yes, yes, but it's still nowhere near as bad as mobile games.
Sure.
It's just it's if you want to play on a fair competitive level, you do have to have access to more characters, and you either have to play the game for like 10 hours to unlock a character, or just pay money, or have banked enough money from before playing 10 hours a day to be able to buy the new characters. Which is definitely feels kind of sketch, but I've been playing League as a free-to-play user, and it's never bothered me because I only play one hero. But you can always specialize in a handful of heroes. You don't have to play the new, all the new heroes. And somebody mentioned, in our chat, Jester Smiles, he bought a $30 Harley Quinn skin for PUBG, which actually costs more than the game. I think Canaris mentioned that they're selling those limited time Harley Quinn skins in PUBG. And I asked myself, Harley Quinn from that Suicide Squad movie? Like people are still like talking about that? Like it's a Suicide Squad promotion. And that movie's been like it has been in theaters for a long time. It's such a weird time to do a promotion with them, right?
Maybe they're working on another one. These movies never end.
That's true. That's true. I'm pretty sure it didn't do very well though.
I don't know.
It's still just every PC game I've seen that does microtransactions, like besides a few obscure Chinese games that just don't do very well, they've been doing much fairer. And I just don't want to lose out on PC games. I don't want everything to go to mobile.
There's a TV show coming out.
TV show for what? Oh, for Suicide Squad?
I guess so. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, the only other interesting thing we saw this week in earnings was I think from Nexon, which they made a pretty interesting announcement that we got updated figure on Dungeon Fighter Online. So again, for those that don't know, Dungeon Fighter Online is actually the most successful MMORPG in the world. That game is minting money. They made over $10 billion in lifetime revenue since they launched in 2005. And the CEO of Nexon, Owen Mahoney, he likes to make this reference just to show how big Dungeon Fighter Online is. If you look at the total box office sales of every single Star Wars movie ever since 1977 when the first one came out, since episode 6 was the first one. Episode 6.
Four.
Four. Episode 4 came out. I'm derping. They made about 8.5 billion in lifetime sales, and that goes up to the Han Solo movie and all the spin-off movies like up until today in box office sales like 8.5 billion or so. So Dungeon Fighter Online has made more money than all the Star Wars movies combined, and it actually out-earns World. Yeah, in terms of box office sales, we're not counting DVDs, we're not counting like plushies and stuff, just movie ticket sales. But that's still really impressive. It actually makes more money than World of Warcraft. And what's crazy is World of Warcraft is off its peak, right? World of Warcraft peaked years ago in terms of subscribers, right? It's still huge and the biggest game in the West, but Dungeon Fighter Online is at all-time highs in popularity. Dungeon Fighter Online has more players and makes more money today than ever before. It's up to over 10% year over year. So DFO is still like growing leaps and bounds because of the success in China and Korea. Whereas WoW has been kind of like stagnating and bounces with every big expansion, but never touched their old peak. So World of Warcraft, so Dungeon Fighter Online is huge and crazy big. And they actually mentioned that Maple Story 1 in South Korea is up 100% year over year as well. They've launched a big update for the game, and in South Korea, Maple Story 1, despite like looking like a kid's game, which it kind of is a kid's game, right? It's still a huge success, and it still brings in constant revenue and has a huge player base. So these are like such iconic franchises. I mean, we'll see if Maple Story 2 can ever live up to that hype. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to be an iconic game like Maple Story 1 or a DFO, but we'll see.
Youngfly asks, is it too late to get into WoW? I don't think so. I think WoW is very generous in that when you buy the latest expansion, you basically start at the, like 10 levels below the max. So you start level 110. And you don't have to pay extra for that the way you do in like Final Fantasy. So it's never too late with WoW because they give you free catch-up levels.
Never mentioned, I never met a single person that plays DFO. I met a couple actually, and yeah, the game isn't very big in America compared to South Korea and China. I mean, it's bread and butter is the Chinese market, right? It makes all its money over there, but it's actually not a bad game. Even like, it's a South Korean developed game, and it was one of the earlier like this model that they use, right? It's instance dungeon persistent hub model where basically you have these hub towns, and from the hub towns you can interact with other players, trade items, craft, do all that jazz, right? And get the quests. And you go into these instance dungeons. They're almost like linear progression. You beat level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and so forth, right? That model we've seen used in Closers. We've seen used in Critica, Soul Worker. There's been like Dragon Nest, Vindictus. That model's been used forever. I think Nexon was one of the early pioneers of that model. and it's worked really well for them. I mean, DFO was one of the first ones doing it, and it's one of the best games like that too. It's got this really cool old arcadey feel to it, which I really like. It reminds me of those arcade side-scrolling beat 'em ups. So the graphics really appeal to me. But I tried playing it, couldn't get into it too much. But I like the art style a lot.
And one good thing I should mention about Dungeon Fighter is they actually have an event going on. I hope it's still going, but basically they gave you a free max level character.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
right from the get go, boom.
You check the website. I believe it's still going, but it could have ended recently.
It's progression of those games too. Is you basically want to get like best possible gear as well. You know, there's a lot of gear progression in that too. What keeps players coming back and trying to get the best upgrades.
I want to show you one more screenshot here for from Nexon's earnings, Omer.
Mm-hmm.
And
good old, yeah,
just jump on the hate, just to pile on here. Our previous point with the mobile here. All right, so this is their earnings in each region, right? Mm-hmm. Nexon's Japan. The blue here is mobile, and the green is PC. So as you can see in Japan, most of the money comes from mobile. Let's move on to North America. Also, the majority is mobile. No surprise. And Europe also mobile.
Whew, that's a lot of mobile game revenue, boys. That's a lot of mobile game revenue.
And when
in
I think
America,
Nexon,
they bought a big company, a big mobile company too. That's why.
Right, but even okay, fine. But even if you look at previous
reports,
quarters, when I think of Nexon, I don't really think of any mobile games. I know they have like Dominations or something. Like, what is off the top of your head? What are Nexon's mobile games in America?
Heroes or Incredible Tales, and nobody plays it. There's also that Dominations game which they bought, and that's really all I can think of. I mean, I guess they must have some other ones clearly, right? I mean, Maple Story M just launched too.
Yeah, Maple Story M is there. They have Darkness Rising, Evil Factory, Dynasty Warriors Unleashed, Master of Eternity, RTK, The Legend of Cow Cow.
Master of Eternity. That game. The initials are Moe. They were really trying to appeal to the weeb crowd by making the initials Moe. Let's go play some Moe online, boys.
I haven't even heard of some of these games.
Master of Eternity looks kind of nice. It just looks like an anime game. Never played it though, but
Power Rangers All Stars is a Nexon.
Are these out in America?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Today I learned. This is where Nexon makes most of their money. When I think Nexon, I'm thinking Maple Story 1, and I'm thinking like Maple Story 2 now, and I'm thinking like DFO. That's it. Those are my that and Vindictus. These are the games that come to mind when I think Nexon. But apparently that's the minority of their games.
Yeah, let's see what this game looks like, guys. Power Rangers.
Some Power Rangers gameplay, boys. Some Nexon Power Ranger game.
Let's look at this guy.
What's going on?
What's going on? All right, here we go, guys. This is a Nexon game right here. What's going on? Where's the gameplay? Let's start the game.
Is it gonna be like a Power Rangers like gacha game?
I have no idea.
Is this a MOBA? It looks kind of like a MOBA. Let's see.
It's art's kind of cool.
Gameplay, or is this like this whole 15-minute video is like just showing menus? No, we got some gameplay now.
So what's going on here?
Gameplay in a mobile game. LOL. I don't know what's going on here.
I can't really tell.
Well, apparently this game is making. Oh, dude, I hate the 1, 2, 3 star system when you beat a level. That reminds me. That's like Candy Crush tier, and I hate it. If you beat a level, it gives you 1 to 3 stars. I'm just thinking Candy Crush. Get me out of there, boys. I hate that.
All right. So let's go back to all right. So here it is. These are the stats. Mobile for Nexon is also a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bada bing, bada boom.
All right, I want to show you a useless statistic, Altai. All right, I saw this earlier. Final Fantasy 14 released their 5-year anniversary trailer, and it's a bunch of content creators just saying how much they love the game. Right, it's a circle jerk of Final Fantasy 14, right? And they showed in this video, Altai. Let me see if we can link this to you. Let me link it to you on Slack.
Discord.
I'll link it to you on Discord. So what they did was where's my Discord hiding at? I hate when games show us this. These are usually found in like infographics.
Yep.
So just look at the statistic. It's the most useless thing ever. It's so pointless to compare these two numbers.
Wow.
So 312,597 number of unique characters who have defeated Bahamut, and that's 6 times the number of finishers of the New York Marathon. Like what? How are these two numbers have no meaning with each other? They could have just easily said that's 6 times as large as my favorite number, and it'd be equally as useful.
You know what's amazing?
What?
Whoever made this, right? I bet he's into marathons, and he was at the New York Marathon, because nobody else has any frame of reference for that number.
Yeah, it's so useless. They could compare it to like anything else, but like, also why that number? Unique number of characters defeated Bahamut. Like who cares? That's like, and that's like Bahamut, like the ultimate coil of Bahamut, or like some savage. This is like some regular nonsense content. Like what?
This is
That's
really
such a useless figure. Why don't they show me like number of unique players that are concurrent at once is equal to the number of people that fill up a stadium? You know, like, that's a cooler figure. Like, that's useful, right? This number tells me nothing. Half those players that killed Bahamut could have quit by now. Maybe more. Maybe 80% of those quit by now. Who knows? This is the most useless man. Both figures are useless to anyone reading at this. I like that. I like Miss House stream. It's 1,000 times the amount of people that survived the Boston bombings. Whoa. I don't know. It seems like such a useless figure.
This is a really bizarre number. I agree.
And I see a lot of game companies that do infographics always put figures like this in their articles, and it's so pointless, and it makes me cringe.
I got a fun story.
Now let's hear it.
I don't know if you guys heard about this. So this guy who has like a YouTube channel, a gaming YouTube channel, where he mostly uploads gameplay clips with no commentary. It's just straight gameplay. Okay. He put a video of him punching a female NPC in Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay.
Okay.
And then like doing just beating up this NPC, and his whole account got banned for that.
What?
This guy's like hundreds of videos.
No, there's no way. So he made a video of punching a female NPC in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes.
With no commentary.
Yes.
And that got his account banned.
Have you seen the video, Omar?
No, I haven't. Can we show it?
Good. We're gonna play. I'm gonna play it.
We'll play it. We're the resistance, right? We're the freedom resistance. Let's show it.
What happened though is there was so much backlash against YouTube that they had to reinstate it, right? But
Good.
Only because there's outlash. If there was no lashback, he'd stay banned.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That the only recourse you have in these situations, if you can muster up a shitstorm on the internet, if you can't get backlash or people to support you, you just ban. You have no voice. YouTube has no like system to contact them about fixing these things. Like you can't contact YouTube. You can't contact Google either. So it's really fucked up that you can lose your entire channel over literally doing nothing wrong.
Okay, this is my favorite one.
I want to see the video. I want to see it.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna play the 3 minutes. We're gonna play this video, guys. Let's go.
Okay.
An American. Come on, people. Let me vote. It's a national disgrace.
You think you're better than me?
You know, it's terribly important.
What is? Voting?
Yes, terribly. Once women get the vote, the whole country will stop making such a pig's ear of everything. There'll be no more wars, no hunger, no stupidity. We'll elect a woman president within the first 10 years, of course. You see, men are such judgmental prigs. You need us women to help straighten you out. Okay? With us helping. I'm not saying there won't be trouble. I just think we'll do a better job of things.
I hope you're right. Good luck.
All right, here's where the fun begins.
I'll stand here until if I have to. I don't care. I want to vote. I am a citizen. I have a brain. Let me vote, you ignorant fools.
Bonjour, monsieur.
A little bit of dead time here. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's waiting for his horse. All right, there's the horse.
If it takes until the rest of the 20th century, I will stand here and women need the right.
So he changes his mask here, I think.
And they did everywhere that men have it. That's democracy. What we currently support is a sham.
Brings a loading screen to change your mask? Yikes.
I don't know. This game is brutal.
Get out of here, quick!
Yikes.
When will this end? He's out of control.
You dug your own
My
grave.
God.
I love this part. He's just dragging her.
Yikes.
He brought her all the way here.
All right, real talk though, real talk. How is the title misleading?
What do you mean, title misleading?
Oof.
Isn't that funny though that you can just like feed her to the alligator?
But were people like mad that the title was too violent or something?
I don't know about the title, but anyway. So just for this kind of content, remember, this has no commentary. Okay, it's straight gameplay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet this got his whole account removed. This guy, okay, he's got a lot of subscribers now, but I don't know how much he had before, right? This whole controversy. But this guy's been making these kind of videos.
This is what you can do in the game. You know,
look
you
at
made
all his
this
videos.
video,
Like, he's been doing this for a long time. He's just making like really, simple gameplay clips. So how does this get banned by YouTube? I don't understand.
I think it was over the title, right? Because somebody mentioned in the chat that the title was a little provocative, but like the title was like feeding an annoying feminist to an alligator. Like that character in the game was literally a feminist. He's trying to get the right to vote for women, and she was a feminist. And the title aptly describes what happened in the video. In fact, he should get like a check mark for being a good relevant title. You know, sometimes YouTube videos have poor titles, but no, that title was whatever that video was about. You know, he explained what it was. He did everything in the game with zero commentary, and to give your account banned over something so ridiculous like that is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, and honestly, I subscribe to this guy's channel, even though like I have no like interest in watching.
Protest.
Yeah, it's protest. Just to defend him. And I think a lot of these guys, his subscribers, are in the past few weeks. Just people like me.
But yeah, people are saying it was because of the title, right? But if you look at that title, like that's literally what he did in the video, right? Like there was a feminist and they defended the alligator. The only part where he journalized was put annoying there. That's the only part that was like editorialized by him, which he could find her annoying.
But you know what's funny? So he got reinstated, right? But now just to view his videos, you can't even view them until you log in and H check.
Oh my
and
God,
they're probably all
awful.
demonetized. So there goes any money he's making from this. It's a real shame.
Ripperino.
Yeah, he got ripped.
He got skewered. Feels bad. Rip his money.
Yeah.
What a world we live in. All right, you can't even make videos with no commentary without getting your account banned anymore. Yikes. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oof. Feels bad.
Yeah, that's sad. But it's a funny video. I'm surprised how much the game allows you to do. You know, you can lasso the girl, drag him with you, feed him to the crocodile alligator.
But like, back in GTA, you could always run people over on the sidewalk. There was always like Rockstar games are always like violent, right? You could always just drive on the sidewalk and literally kill like hundreds of people.
Yep.
It's like a normal day if you're playing GTA. But feeding to an alligator was apparently is what got them banned. Big yikes. Right, there's one more small thing I want to point out. Legends of Aria got showing off their player housing. And this game, I think, handles housing. This is like, I still like the concept of housing in MMOs is a topic I really like talking about because I feel like so many games could do a better job with housing. And I think for you and me, we both really enjoy the way Ultima Online handled housing, and this basically does the same thing. What I really like about the housing in this game, I mean, I don't think the game is going to do very well for other reasons, but I think they did a really good job with housing because it's got persistent world housing. Anywhere in the game world you can walk, you can basically place a house if there's no objects or trees blocking the way. And I think that's the way to do housing. I thought it was a pretty cool look at it if you just skip ahead to like 1 minute.
Yeah, it does look cool. And I think I just read you can actually own land and then let other people build houses on your land, which is kind of weird, but interesting. I want to see how that goes because that does happen in real life. Sometimes the owner of the land and the owner of the house are different people.
But I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, and I've been playing like a lot of like Korean free-to-play and more RPGs, including like Aura Kingdom and stuff. They have housing and stuff, but it's always done in this really weird, tacked-on way where it's a secondary feature, and your housing exists in like a separate zone. Even Black Desert Online, where you have housing in the cities, it's you just go into like this instanced area inside the house, and then that's it, right? Whereas in Ultima Online and in Legends of Aria now, it's in the persistent world, and it's actually you put your items in there, you can decorate your house, you can show off your cool shit. This is the way housing should be done. And I love the housing in Final Fantasy 14 because it's kind of persistent in it's an instanced area, but with other houses, so you can still show off your zone. But it's still weird to have a zone, like 50 copies of a zone with housing, which is why Final Fantasy 14 does it. But I do want to see more and more RPGs innovate with housing, or at least make it more persistent, because it seems like such an easy way to like, I don't know, it seems like an important part of a game. Maybe because Ultima Online was my first game, I love the housing in that game. Maybe I feel more tethered to housing than most people.
So when is this game going to come out? It should be very soon, right?
It's launching. It's coming on Steam in December. It's a buy-to-play game though, and it looks very much like an Ultima Online knockoff. Honestly, so much of this game is inspired by Ultima Online. Even like the housing system is identical to Ultima Online, where you can like lock things down. The terminology is the exact same, right? You want to put something in your house to show off, you gotta lock it down. So honestly, just play an Ultima Online private server too if you're curious. But yeah, this one's coming out in December on Steam.
I'll give it a shot. I mean, it's gonna be a niche, I think, but I think they know that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I put on an old trailer where it was still called Shards Online.
Yeah. They changed the name for it, weirdly. But I mean, yeah, player housing, boys, needs work. Needs work in a lot of games. No game I think has done it really well since the days of Ultima Online.
All right. Well,
this one, yeah.
Anything else? I got one news. Some
hit it outside. Take the last business news, and then we'll take it to the post.
So Newzoo has a report on gaming, and I just like watching I like looking at their charts here, so we can get another look at the top gaming companies in the world by revenue. Tencent's still number one. The blue chart here is 2018, first half of the year. Green chart is 2017, first half of 2017. So Tencent is up, Sony is up a lot, Apple's up, and I bet a lot of you guys don't know this, but Apple apparently is the number 3 company in the world by gaming revenue, and it's all because they get a 30% cut of everything you spend in the iOS store on mobile. If you have an iPhone or an iPad and you play these mobile games and you spend money, Apple gets that money.
Apple will be the second biggest, I think, after Tencent in the near future. And if we go like 20 years in the future, they'll probably be number 1 because everything's gonna go through mobile in the future anyway.
Yep. Let's see. Even Google is up. Again, because they got a cut of everything in the Google Play Store.
I think, Fortnite Mobile did 55 million in October on iOS alone.
Wow.
That's insane. So in 1 month, right? In 1 month, they did 55 million on iOS on their mobile version, and Apple gets 30% of that, right?
Yep.
So Apple made $16.5 million purely from just their rake, their 30% cut on Fortnite's revenue in 1 month. That's insane.
And it really shows you how small like Nintendo is on this chart. Like Nintendo makes a fraction of Apple's money in gaming.
And when you think of Apple, you don't really think of a gaming company, even though now they get so much money from gaming. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, it is amazing. So yeah, that was my last thing. What do you got?
One more mobile thing before we call it too. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like if Dragalia Lost, like the new Nintendo game that just launched, right? So Nintendo makes quite a bit of money off these mobile games. So they've calculated how much money they make per install, which I found to be pretty remarkable, right? So for every install, can you guess how much money they make off the average Japanese player who downloads and installs Dragalia Lost? The average player. And that counts players who spend 0, and it counts players that spend a lot of money. So the average spend per install for the game in Japan is absolutely mind-boggling to me.
I think
it's the highest number for any of their games.
But I forgot. NepDep, I think it's way too high. I'm gonna say $8.
It's $25 per Japanese player. And we all know those Japanese players spend like crazy, right? But I find that American number equally surprising. The average player in North America, by the United States, spent $8.50 per install. So if you had Dragalia Lost on your smartphone right now and you spent less than $8, you spent below average.
That's me. Right? I got it installed.
Yeah. So you bring down the average, Altai.
Bringing down the average, boys.
That's $8.50 is a good chunk of change. And if you look at the Japanese figure, $25, that's like half the price of a full budget game. That's insane. That's how much the average person is spending on a free game. So these games are getting way better at monetizing, which is pretty nuts.
Indeed. Are we gonna become Japanese whales soon?
One day.
All right,
that's all I got.
I think I'm out of stuff to show. I do want to show a Fallout 76 PvP video, but perhaps we'll save that for the post game.
Yeah, we'll show in post game.
That game is coming out today apparently, and in some places it's already out and playable. So we'll talk about that in the post game. All right.
Take care for YouTube.
Take care.